Broadcasting from Cincinnati, you're listening to the Ringside Reporter Podcast. All the news from the world of boxing right here.
Well, I'm talking to you the way I want to talk to you.
Now, here's your host, Eric Lorda.
And we are live. Welcome to the Ringside Reporter Show, where we talk about the latest boxing news. If it's related to boxing, we're going to talk about it right here. My name is Eric Lorta, and I'm here with my co-host, Joe Habib. We got a great show for you today in England. This is for you. Beeb, we always try to give back to England because our UK fans are the best on the planet, right? And we always try to give back to them with at least two shows that are built for you guys. So it's noon here. We like to give you guys, rather than having you guys stay up at 1 o'clock or having to download the show, you're live now. All right? There you go. We love it. We love it. If you want to call in, 570-530-8316. Let's get started, guys. Otto Wallin versus Derek Chisora. Beeb, Derek Chisora wins a unanimous decision over Wallin by the scores of 117-109, 114-112. Wow, that was close. 116-110. Wallin was down in the 9th and the 12th. How in the world do you have it 114-112?
Yeah, my scorecard was very wide. I think I was hard-pressed to even give Wallin a round, if that. Maybe if I was being generous, maybe I could find maybe 1 or 2 rounds to squeeze in there for him, but I just didn't see it. I just didn't see this fight being competitive or close. But ironically enough, Corey Lee texted me, and he was watching this fight as well, and he thought this fight was very competitive.
Really?
Yeah. So he thought it was competitive. So again, this is a subjective sport. Sometimes both of us have been on the other end of a scorecard where we see something that maybe the majority don't. And, it is what it is. We don't scorecard shame here. I mean, we respect people's scorecards. If that's what you saw, that's what you saw. I can only say what I saw, and I just did not see a competitive fight at all. I thought this was extremely one-sided. And I don't want to take anything away from Derek Chisora. I don't know if this was a case of just Wallin being flat or just Wallin being in so many tough fights where it finally caught up with him, or But again, the flip side of that is Chisora's got a lot of miles on him too, and he was able to rise to the occasion. I thought he looked like he looked phenomenal in this fight. He's made a renaissance, and he just kept the ball rolling here with this performance. I thought it was a phenomenal performance.
It was good. It was good. It was entertaining, but and Derek Chisora, here's my thing. Like, I like the guy, he's always in exciting fights. He's always there. I don't understand, why is he still fighting? Because he's not top level anymore. You could see it. I mean, and neither is Wallin. No question. He's not in top level either. He's nowhere close. He's done, he's at the end of his rope as well. But let's face it, does Derek Chisora have any shot against those top guys?
I wouldn't pick him probably. He after the fight, he put those pictures up of all those fighters, and he asked the crowd, which one would you like me to fight? He would be the underdog against every one of them. I think the best guy he would have a chance against, in my opinion, at this stage, ironically enough, would probably be Anthony Joshua.
Yeah, that's what we are.
Yeah. So if
because his punch resistance is gone too.
Yeah, if you want to go with probably what would be the biggest fight from a monetary standpoint, and what would generate the most, I don't know. I don't even want to say generate the most interest, but what would generate the most I guess I will say generate the most interest. I think that fight would, if it was on pay-per-view in the UK, that one would probably sell the most pay-per-view buys, and they could probably fill out a big stadium and be able to put it in a big stadium if it was Joshua versus Chisora, or an all UK battle. Because these, how the UK fans are. They love Joshua. They regardless, they still love Chisora. So no matter what goes on with these guys in terms of their careers, if they're up, they're down, win, lose, or draw, the UK fans stand behind their fighters. They've done so with Ricky Hatton. They've done so with Frank Bruno. They've done so with Joshua, and they've done so with Chisora. And I think they would continue to do so if you put these two guys in a ring. So if you want to talk about what would be the biggest fight in terms of revenue and interest and all that, I think that the Joshua fight would be the best fight.
And Chisora's fought everybody. I mean, in his career, he has fought everybody. It's a who's who of heavyweights.
Unquestionable resume.
Really. It's a
unquestionable resume.
But I tell you, man, it's I don't want to see it anymore. You know what I mean? I just don't. You see what happens to these guys years down the road. You know what I mean? We saw Terry Norris, Meldrick Taylor, all the other guys. And I don't want to see that. You know what I mean? It's enough. We've seen the big fight. It's enough.
Yeah.
Because any fight, you can walk in there and it's gone.
And you know what's crazy, Eric? A lot of times these fighters will say, well, just one more. And sometimes that one more continues to be just one more after every fight.
Yes.
And it's been like that with Chisora. I'm sure his family and close friends and people around him that he holds dear and near, they've been telling him probably for years, to at least the last 2 or 3 years, why don't you just walk away? And he's made some great money. But again, it's so hard to walk away when you can fill out stadiums like he did, and people are cheering him.
Yeah,
people treated him.
Yes.
People treated him yesterday as if he was a world champion. Yeah. He gets treated better than world champions. He gets more support, with all due respect, than someone like Daniel Dubois, who is a world champion.
Does he belong in the Hall of Fame?
Chisora?
Yep.
I wouldn't vote him in, no. I wouldn't vote him in.
That's cold-blooded. You voting Arturo Gatti? He's a heavyweight Arturo Gatti.
I'll be honest.
He's a heavyweight Arturo Gatti.
I'm not part of the Boxing Writers Association of America, but I do have like a mock vote every year, as if I was part. Like I have these delusions of grandeur and pretend that I am part of the organization, even though that it's pointless. And I will tell you, when I had that mock vote back then, I had the mock vote and I did not vote for Arturo Gatti. May he rest in peace. I don't want to say anything bad about the guy that's gone, but I did not, during my mock vote that I usually have every year, even though it doesn't count, I did not vote for Arturo Gatti. I just want to put that on the record.
Let me just understand this. Okay. I want to understand this just for me personally. I want to understand this. So when the Hall of Fame voting comes out,
yes, you
actually print out a ballot and fill it in as if you were one of the writers.
Hand to God. I do. Because I have friends like Maestro he's part of the Boxing Writers Association of America. Shout out to Maestro Amilcar Burnett. He's part of that organization. So is Mike Montero.
Right.
And out of the good grace of their heart, they will send me a ballot just so I can pretend I'm part of the team. I know it means nothing to the average person, but we can all have our fantasies, right? I've always wanted to be part of the Boxing Writers Association of America, and I've never been able to get in, and that's fine. I can accept that. But I get the next best thing. I have a mock vote, even though it doesn't count. At least I have access to ballots because of people that I know from the Boxing Writers Association of America. They're good enough and kind enough to send me a ballot, and they let me vote. And I'm not even going to lie to you.
Is just disturbing to me.
I'm not even going to lie to you. I'm not even going to lie to you. Can I tell you what I do? Even though it doesn't count, I still mail it in because I want it on the record. Oh my God. I want it on the record. It doesn't even count, but I still mail the thing in.
This is sad on so many levels. I feel icky now. I just want to change the topic. Okay. Can we, I don't like it. I don't like the way it makes me feel. You know what I mean?
When you ask me questions, I give you full transparency. I let people.
Unfortunately, maybe you should start lying. I don't know.
I'm an open book.
You're an open book. All right. Yeah.
I don't like keeping secrets from the public. People who listen to this show, they trust me, right?
Every year it comes out and you pretend to be a mock boxing writer so that you can vote in the Hall of Fame, which your vote does not count for.
Yeah. Well, technically, I do the show.
Just stop.
Yeah, but I do the show every week. I mean, doesn't that account for anything?
It's a little cuckish. I got to be honest with JC. I agree. It's a little cuckish. Omar Rodriguez says Beeb needs help.
I'm not gonna accept that, JC. I'm not gonna agree with that.
Aaron Daly said this is perfect timing for us. Thanks for the UK appreciation show. That's it. Jesse wants to know. He said it's so cool that we give back to the UK, but is there anything else he can watch at 6:30 tonight here in the States? I don't know. I don't really keep track of what's going on. So if there's something on at 6 o'clock, I don't know about it. Put it that way. So yeah. Big Texan comments. Forget about the Boxing Writers Association of America. You'll always be on my team, Beeb. Kisses. That's what he says.
This, please.
Very nice.
Please.
Very
It's
nice.
not the time. It's not the time and place for that, please.
Not the time. What's the matter with you? So Chizora's going to fight again. Who does he fight?
I'll be honest with you. I would not be shocked if he fights Joshua next. That would be the move. That would be the move if I had anything to say about it, and if I was managing him, and if I was managing Joshua,
maybe you could set up an imaginary press conference to try to pull it together. All right. I'm just saying, why not?
I mean, let me just be honest. Like did you ever, when you were a kid, like dress up as like Captain America or something?
Like when I was a kid. Yes, I don't do it now.
All right, so then you could argue there's a little bit of Arrested Development going on here.
I could argue there's a lot of Arrested Development going on there.
I'm just being honest. Come on.
All right, listen. How is this? Answer me this. Riddle me this, all right? This was billed as an IBF eliminator. Like, really? These two. This is the IBF eliminator? Stop.
You've seen worse, have you not?
I have.
This should not shock you at this point. At this point, you should no longer be shocked by things
I am
like
not
that.
shocked. I am not
All right?
shocked.
You didn't just start doing this yesterday. Come on.
Like it or not, man, it was a good fight yesterday. It was a good fight.
Oh, it was a really entertaining fight.
He's always in good fights, man. This is why he's a treasure. I don't think he should be. Hang it up, man. He's a treasure, man. He really is.
And I can't help but to root for the guy, to be honest.
Oh, you have to. You have to, man. All right. Let's go to the upcoming fights here. Let's go to the schedule here. February 14th, be Valentine's Day. Big Texan is in the chat. Big Texan, what would you like for Valentine's Day? What would be your absolute wish for Valentine's Day?
Again, this is not that type of show here, right?
I interact with the fans. That's all I'm doing. Me and the fans. We're interacting. This is what we do.
This is not an episode of The Bachelor, please.
I'm just saying. Why
do you have to encourage this guy?
It's part of our fan group. What's the matter with you? For the people here. All right, February 14th, Valentine's Day. Maybe you and Big Texas sit on a couch, kick back.
Lois is not going to like that. Lois would not appreciate you saying these things.
And watch Dennis Baranchek versus Keyshawn Davis, 12 rounds on ESPN for Baranchek's WBO lightweight title. Xander Zayas on the co-main here against Slava Spomer. Never heard of him. Vito Malnecki Jr., friend of the show, against Connor Coyle. And then Juanma Lopez de Jesus versus Brian Santiago. Abdullah Mason on the card versus Manuel James. Jared Anderson. This is a big one. This is a big comeback fight for him. Jared Anderson versus Marios Colias, 10 rounds heavyweights. And Clinton Chavez is on the card against Nico Walsh Ali. Fun fact about Nico Walsh Ali, this is actually the grandson of Muhammad Ali. I tell you this because when you watch ESPN, you won't ever hear them say this because they want to protect him and stuff like that. They don't want to promote him right. You'll never hear that he's the grandson of Muhammad Ali. I'll tell you that right now. But be that as it may, he's on the undercard. All right. February 15th, Saturday, Anaheim, California, on DAZN, Oscar Duarte versus Miguel Madueno, 12 rounds, junior welterweights. On DAZN, also on the 15th, Jack Catterall versus Arnold Barboza for the vacant WBO junior welterweight interim title. What does that mean? What is that? The vacant? That doesn't make any sense. The vacant interim title. Come on.
That would be like me saying,
why do we need to populate the interim title?
That would be like me saying, I'm an interim host of this show, even though I show up every week.
Correct. I agree. Iceman, yes, Ali really has a grandson. That's a boxer. It's nuts, right? I would have never known. Big Texan says, I'm the only one that thinks a 41-year-old is getting faster, better stamina, more power at 41 years old, and is Red flag potentially. All right, there you go. Anywho, the 22nd, 2 weeks away. The biggest card in like pay-per-view. This is bigger than any of the King cards, and he put on some really good ones.
I would agree.
This has got to be huge. Every fight. Let me run this down real quick. Arthur Beterbiev versus Dimitri Bivol. This is on the 22nd on DAZN pay-per-view. Beterbiev versus Bivol for the Undisputed Championship. Dubois versus Parker for the IBF heavyweight title. Carlos Adames versus Hamzat Shiraz, and they are very high on Shiraz there. Riyadh loves that guy.
Mm-hmm.
Virgil Ortiz, and he's really good. Virgil Ortiz versus Israel Madrimov. Joshua Buatsi versus Callum Smith. Shakur Stevenson versus Floyd Schofield. Zhilei Zhang versus Agit Kabayel. Are you serious? Every one of those fights are good.
I love every fight.
Every one.
Every fight.
Every one. Reese Mack says that Ali's daughter boxed too. Huh. I didn't know that. Layla Ali, I guess. I didn't know they boxed. It's crazy. Crazy talk. That is an insane card, Beeb.
It is.
An insane card.
It is.
That is crazy. Beeb, all right. Let's talk about the big news this weekend. This started on what, Wednesday?
Yeah, this was
about Tuesday or Wednesday when we got word that Jake Paul and Canelo Alvarez were going to fight. Now, we both had sources contact us, and we both read sources in the media and everything like that. Everything said that this fight's going to be announced next week. All right. Let me ask you a question. Were you excited about that fight?
I'm going to be honest.
Hello, Jake Paul.
I'm going to be honest with you. I know a lot of people were giving it pushback.
Yeah.
What I was excited about was I wanted to see Canelo Alvarez knock out Jake Paul.
Yeah.
That's what I was excited about.
Yeah. I mean, so a lot of the same things, you know?
Yeah.
Because we know he doesn't stand a chance against Canelo.
I don't believe so, no.
No, I don't either. And I don't care what weight he came in at either.
Yeah. And you know what would have, again, I can't say the fight could really be legitimized from a competitive standpoint, but at least it would have been great seeing, like, because Jake Paul is so much bigger than Canelo, so much significantly bigger. It would have been nice just seeing Canelo, who's the smaller guy, just go in there and beat the bigger guy. It would have added a little bit something to the fight. Like, okay, you because a lot of times Jake Paul is looked upon as the bully, but you can't really call Canelo the bully here because he's older and he's smaller. This is a guy that would be moving up 3 weight classes to fight you. Yeah. So
we don't know. In fairness, I didn't see where the weight was contracted.
I think it was going to be a cruiserweight, from what I understand.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So this was going to be a cruiserweight, right? And so you could say, oh well, Canelo's way more talented. He's an elite fighter. Why is he fighting this YouTuber? Well, this YouTuber was preying on other people that you would argue shouldn't have been in the ring with him either. So this is more or less of this guy getting his comeuppance, in my opinion. And that's what I wanted to see. This guy who talks so much trash, saying he's the face of boxing, where Canelo really is the face of boxing. This is the battle for who's the face of boxing. And what better cherry on top would it have been to see Canelo solidify, not even have to solidify, but just in Jake Paul's world, solidify his place as the face of boxing by knocking this other so-called face of boxing out.
Right.
I wanted to see that.
Yeah.
Now,
it's not the fight I wanted to see Canelo in. You know what I mean? I wanted to see him against Crawford or somebody like that. It's not the fight I wanted to see Canelo in, but it was signed. And I said, I know he's going to get a lot of hate from it. I hate the fight, but I just hate, and he's also going to get a lot of backlash from it as well.
Mm-hmm.
So all this goes in. And then all of a sudden, I think it was like Saturday where everything kind of fell apart, So this is from ESPN. And Mike Coppinger, of course, was on the case, right, Beeb?
I got to start giving Coppinger a little bit more credit than I have
some
been
respect on his name,
because he has His Excellency's air now. He has a pipe. He has a straight pipeline to His Excellency. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. So I got to give him credit, man.
That's it. I agree. I agree. Turki Al-Sheikh told ESPN that he told Alvarez that if he proceeded with the planned fight against Jake Paul, the previously agreed 3-fight deal with Riyadh season was off the table. Wow.
I'm not
So
sure. Yeah.
Alvarez expressed that he didn't want to fight YouTuber Jake Paul, but he needed a fight in May, according to sources. The first fight of the so as soon as Turki said that, that fight was off. Because I don't know how many millions this contract he's given him is worth, but I know it's a lot.
Well, can I just interject? I apologize. Can I just interject with one part? Who reported that?
Coppinger reported that.
But during his interview with Turki Al-Sheikh, Turki Al-Sheikh said that he didn't want that fight to happen, but that his 4-fight deal was supposedly supposed to start after the May fight.
It was.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it was. And it had nothing to do with, but he just said, if you fight Jake Paul, I'm not, the deal's over, man.
Because he
doesn't like the Jake Paul thing.
Yeah, he didn't say that during the interview. He kind of presented it a little bit more diplomatically. He said that he did not think that it was a good idea for Canelo to do it because he thought it would hurt the build-up going into the September fight with Crawford. But I apologize for interrupting. Continue.
No, you're 100%, but you're 100% right. I mean, that was the deal.
I just wanted to add a little bit of context to it. That's all.
Yeah, and so that's why Turki was irritated with this and basically said, if you fight Jake Paul, we're not going ahead with it. So what did Canelo do? He pulled out. He pulled out of the fight, which you pull out against Jake Paul, you know things are going to happen. So Jake Paul went just scorched earth on this guy. If you haven't seen the video, go pull it up. You can pull it up anywhere. I mean, he showed the contract. He showed everything leading into this. It just had to be embarrassing because I'm like, oh my God, you signed the contract and now you pulled out of the fight.
Was it a binding agreement, though? Was it a binding agreement? Probably.
Apparently not. Not. It's just like anything else. Like when you sign a contract, when you sign a big contract, this is like 72 hours.
Well, there's
also you got 72 hours to change your mind on. I know, like on a house contract or like apartment or whatever, you got 72. A car, you have 72 hours.
That was about agreement. Basically, he signed, which was the terms of the. It was a preliminary document,
right?
And he's trying, and again, he's trying to like pull one over on the fans, saying, "Oh, he signed a cut." If that was a binding agreement, your lawyers would have been all.
But says it's a confidentiality agreement. I don't know. All he knows is he showed up a contract.
Yeah.
I don't know what it said or what it was, but his name was on it. Jake's was on it.
Yeah.
Whatever. Listen, it's a bad look. He's in a no-win situation now.
Yeah, because he's
from his fan standpoint.
Yeah.
Listen. Okay, so you took this fight that none of your like hardcore fans really wanted to see. You took this fight, all right, with Paul. And then you had a lot of backlash from it, including a big contract that you're going to lose if you take this fight. So you back out of it. How awful does that look that you ducked Jake Paul?
Oh, come on.
You ducked Jake Paul.
Come on.
And then he's going to fight May 5th, right? William Scull, the May 5th weekend, Cinco de Mayo weekend.
Okay, I apologize. Go ahead.
William Scull. You and I don't know who this guy is. We've never seen him fight.
We kind of do. That was a phenomenal win over Shishkin. Come on.
Stop it.
Won the title. He's an IBF champion. You got to start showing him some respect.
Shishkin. So, and now the fact that he's fighting Scull, nobody wants to see that fight either.
What do you mean nobody? I want to see it.
I'm sure Skull's family.
I want to see it. I want to see him become undisputed again. So Terrence Crawford will have the opportunity to become.
You want to see him fight William Scull?
100%. I pushed for the fight.
You'd rather see him fight William Scull than somebody else?
At this particular time, while I'm waiting for the Crawford fight, I have no.
So you like the Scull fight?
I do like the Scull fight.
Do you like the fact that he ducked out?
Ducked out.
Now listen. So he's fighting a no name that nobody's ever heard of. All right. William Scull's not exactly a who's who in boxing. Not that he's not good. He's very talented. However, he's not a well-known name like we're accustomed to seeing Canelo fighting. So he ducks Jake Paul, fights a no-name guy. It gets better. It gets better. It gets so much better than this. It gets better. So much better. May 5th weekend, Riyadh season in Saudi. He's having the fight in Saudi. Turned his back on his people. The Mexican people turned his back. Going to Saudi.
Have full access to viewing of the fight. They'll have few access. It's going to be coming by a second in Mexico. Don't defame the Mexican people with this blasphemy. Don't put down the Mexican. You're a Mexican.
Defamed the Mexican people, not anybody else. He defamed them. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. JC, come on. JC, you got to see that. Did he duck him or not? Did he duck him? Hold up. I want an answer to the question. Did he duck him or not? He ducked the guy from Ohio. You know why? Because while they don't F around in Mexico, we don't F around in Ohio either, son. We don't do it here. You pulled out. You pulled out, son. Disgrace. And you know what? I'm going to tell you right now. I'll tell you this right now. He's going to regret it. He's gonna regret it.
Not gonna lose a minute's sleep over it.
He's already losing a bunch of sleep over it.
Minutes.
He's already a bunch of sleep over it. I'll tell you that right now.
You want to disrespect the Mexican people by accusing them of being disappointed when they're not. That's blasphemous.
I'm accusing the Mexican people. Are you listening to yourself?
That's bordering defamation at this point, in my opinion.
Ducked the guy from Ohio. He ducked him. Ohio runs boxing. Know that.
That's disrespectful. He's fighting
an LDBC turncoat.
That's such disrespect.
Javier says Scull would beat Paul. I don't know that. I don't know.
He's going to be a 2-time undisputed champion. Not
Who
only
cares?
And he's going to be.
Who cares? Look who he's fighting. Who cares?
Don't disrespect.
Yeah, did you see? Yeah, did you see the video where Jake Paul was dancing with the mariachis in the back?
Come on.
He messed with the wrong. That was the worst move he could have made. That was the worst move. Honestly, from like a fan standpoint, like if you're a hardcore fan, you didn't want to see him fight Jake Paul. But then he pulls out of Jake Paul to fight William Scull is even worse. I mean, let's face it. Which fight would you rather see, him and Paul or him and Scull? Thank you.
Easily Scull. Easily William Scull. This guy, man. I mean, this guy's dangerous, man. You got to give him some credit. Please. Undefeated. This guy's got a jab like a stiletto.
He's undefeated. Jake Paul. You can't count that Fury loss. He won that fight.
he won that
clearly. He won.
Please.
What's the matter with you?
He scored that fight for Fury, and I've been trained by the best judge in the world. It's Steve Weisfeld.
Steve Farhood? Yeah, that
Steve
one.
Weisfeld.
Yeah, one of those Steves, yeah.
You're rattling me here with this blasphemy. You're rattling me with this blasphemy.
Nobody wants to see the Scull fight, man. Absolutely nobody. I'd rather see the Jake Paul fight. I mean, come on. What are you going to do? All right. So the second fight on this contract, this is according to Coppinger. This is a much better fight. I believe we got to check the tape because my memory's not so good, but I believe I always said this fight would happen. I thought I did anyway. I could be wrong.
You were saying this fight was going to happen like 2 years ago. You were right.
All the time, right? All the time. Terrence Crawford on Mexican Independence Day weekend, September 13th at Las Vegas Allegiant Stadium. And that's like the Death Star. That place is huge.
Oh, that's going to be a monster.
That's
a monster event.
That's a big fight, man. That's a big fight.
Yeah.
And he goes up to 168. I don't think there are any hydration clauses. I don't think there are nothing, right?
Nothing.
Terrence Crawford, man, that's the way to do it.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. That's the way to do it, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good fight. I'm still picking Terrence Crawford in that fight, by the way.
Are you really?
Yeah, I am.
I'm going with
as far as right now, if all things were interested, it was tomorrow, I would definitely take Crawford. Yeah. I just think he boxes better. I think he's a better boxer. He's an elite boxer. elite skill, and I think I think he's above Canelo there. The weight, I don't know. We're gonna see. It's a toss-up fight. It really is. I'm going with Crawford, but it's a toss-up, man.
Let me ask you this. So this has not been confirmed or even put out, like it hasn't been put out there by Turki Al-Sheikh or any promoter or anybody like that. But it has been put out there that Crawford could potentially take an interim fight against Sergey Derevyanchenko. Do you think it would be better for Crawford to take an interim fight in between, or do you think he should just wait for the September fight?
No, he needs to take a fight in between just to stay busy. I mean, it's like, you want to at least fight something. You want to do something.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't fight a dangerous fight or anything like that.
Well, do you think Derevyanchenko's a dangerous fight at this stage for Crawford at 168?
No.
Just to get his feet wet. I think he should win the fight. I would like to just see how he would look against a super middleweight, And even Derevyanchenko, he has fought at super middleweight, but he's really probably just a middleweight himself. Well,
Omar in the chat says he thinks he should wait till September.
I don't think so. Well, I always
things happen. You remember Tommy Morrison when he fought Michael Bent?
Yes.
And when he wins that fight, he was going to go on to fight Lennox Lewis or something like that.
Yeah, correct.
And got knocked out in the first round.
Yeah.
And it's like,
I always get nervous because of upsets, because of injuries, because
Fury Wallin. Remember Fury Wallin with a big cut?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Anything can happen. So
anything can happen.
I think he should fight, but I don't know that he will fight.
Yeah.
Put it that way.
Yeah, I'm not sure
maybe that's a better way to pull it.
I'm not sure if he's going to fight either.
Yeah. Okay, so the third fight in this deal is slated for February 2026 in Riyadh. And the options on the table, a source said, this is from ESPN, the rematch with Bivol, Hamza Shiraz, or Carlos Adames.
Well, what if Carlos Adames loses? Oh, yeah, the winner of that. I see what you're saying. I get that. I understand.
And then Chris Eubank Jr. is also another one.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Eubank Jr., in my opinion.
Yeah, I think it might be. I mean, it depends on what he does on September, but I think so. And then the fourth fight is planned for October 2026 in Riyadh.
Okay.
So, I mean, I don't know.
I think it'll be Eubank. And if Crawford beats
we get the fight we want, right?
Yeah.
Which is a Crawford.
Yeah,
but I don't think we get the Benavidez fight. I think that fight is gone. He doesn't want to fight him.
I'm highly skeptical they get the Benavidez fight, if I'm being honest. I know
he's taking a lot of heat. He's taking a lot of heat for fighting Crawford too, because you're a weight bully, you're this, that.
Well, a lot of people are actually picking Crawford, believe it or not. Like
a lot of people are leaning toward him. Yeah.
It's almost become pretty much a 50-50 fight in terms of the public opinion.
Yeah.
Right? I think Canelo wins. You think Crawford wins. I'm curious to see what Robert says here.
Well, you know what, too, is that Skull's not a bad fighter. Skull's undefeated, but he's only got 9 knockouts. I think that's what concerns me going up. He's not a big puncher.
Yeah, he's got a great jab. He's more of an outboxer. He likes space. He's not a guy that likes to get in there and go deep in the pocket and grind it out and mix it up. So style-wise,
what's he going to do with this pressure?
Yeah.
He's never been in there with that kind of pressure.
And another thing I noticed that Skull does a lot is he gets low. Even when he's fighting on the inside and he jabs, he doesn't really extend himself and use his height and reach. He jabs even from a low position. So it's I don't know. This is probably a great style for Canelo, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I think it might be tailor made for him. I really do.
Yeah.
CN, thank you so much. He said Crawford should take time out to focus on putting on weight properly, like what John Jones did in the UFC.
Yeah. Well,
I don't hate that.
I think Crawford legitimately probably walks around at about $165. So is Crawford gonna enter this? Just my opinion. I could be wrong, but is Crawford gonna enter this fight essentially at his walk around weight?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. All right, let's see here. Let's bring Robert on. Robert, you're live.
Good morning, Robert. Did you eat your waffles this morning?
Hello, guys. How are you?
Did you eat the waffles with Mrs. Herrick before you called into the show this morning?
Oh no, it's too early here, babe.
It's 9:30.
So.
It's 9:30. Yeah. It's not. Are you kidding me?
I know what it is.
By the time it's 9:30, Beeb and I already dressed, worked out, ate breakfast. Half of our work day's done.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, what is Mrs. Herrick?
You guys haven't made.
Who does Mrs. Herrick like in the Super Bowl? Can you put her on the line? Can you put her on the line so she can give us a Super Bowl pick?
Days when I lived
Can you put Mrs. Herrick on
What?
the line so she can give? Can you put Mrs. Herrick on the line so she can give her Super Bowl pick, please?
She's sleeping, Dave.
Oh, come on! It's not 9:30.
Yeah.
They party,
What time does
man. They
Mrs.
party
Herrick
out there in
wake up?
Cali.
Woman's in her 80s.
They're partying
The
out there in
woman's in her
Cali.
80s.
What is she working part-time at night? She needs to sleep in?
No,
What's going on here?
Come on.
Robert,
When you're
What do
in
you
your
make-
80s, listen to how much you sleep.
Robert, what do you make of the Canelo debacle here? Did he duck Jake Paul? He ducked him, right?
First of all,
He ducked him, right?
I am glad. I am glad that it's not. Remember the old E.F. Hutton commercial when E.F. Hutton speaks, people listen.
Yeah.
Well, when Turkey Al speaks, people listen. He told Canelo, "No Paul fight, no deal." So there you go. So
How much do you
I'm
think-
glad that he ducked.
How much do you think Canelo was getting for that Paul fight? It had to be a lot, right?
I have no.
It had to be
I have no idea, but Turkey's got a big enough checkbook to make up the difference.
Does he?
So,
I don't know. I
Yep,
guess he must
he
have.
certainly does. Hey, the money is unlimited in Saudi. People get used to it.
All right, let's not get hyperbolic here, Robbie. You say
It's cold-blooded.
unlimited, all right?
Yeah.
Everything
It's
has a
finite
limit,
money, yeah.
Robert. Let's not just,
Everything. Yeah.
you like to come on here and you like to
Yeah.
propagate a lot of this exaggerated statements that you tend to make from time to time. There's no such thing as unlimited money. Can we at least agree upon that?
Say it.
Say it.
Yeah, I agree
Say
with
it.
you.
Concede the point. Concede the
I
point.
agree with you on that. Okay. All right.
All right.
Now,
Okay,
as far as
fact check me every
Canelo and
week, for Christ's
Crawford are
sakes.
concerned, give me a break. As far as Canelo and Crawford are concerned, look, I love Terence Crawford. He's a great fighter. He's accomplished a lot. He's undisputed champion in 2 weight classes. But as the boxing saying goes, they have weight classes for a reason. And, I'm glad that he's not going to fight between now and then because he's
We
got
don't
to
know that.
concentrate
We
on
don't know that yet.
We don't know that yet.
Again with
And
this,
propagated.
with these false propagations from you.
Propagations, Beeb. He's
Well,
propagating
no,
again.
in my opinion, guys, he will not fight until he steps in the ring in Las Vegas.
That's honestly what I think too.
Preface the statement with that. Don't just put it out there like you don't have the connection like Coppinger has. You don't have Turkey a la Sheiks here.
Oh, look at you riding Coppinger now. Now all of a sudden you want to ride Coppinger.
Yeah.
Hey, man,
Now you want to see Biscuit Coppinger, huh?
I switch up, man.
Now you want to see
I
Biscuit.
switch up on the turn of
Yeah.
a dime, man.
Friend of the
My-
show.
My
That's all
enemies
I'm
can
saying.
become my friends.
I told you
My
about Coppinger a
enemies can
long
become
time
my
ago,
friends in a
son.
split second, man. Split second, I'll turn like a dime, man. You know me, I'm not loyal.
No, if I had to pick the Canelo Crawford fight today, of course that's not September 13th. It's Super Bowl Sunday, February 9th. I would be picking Canelo to win that fight.
Yeah, that makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah.
You know.
Makes sense.
But
Let's answer the question, Robert, that I
we're
asked you to
seeing-
begin with. Did he duck Jake Paul?
No, he did not.
Tell me why.
Did what
He had a
his boss
contract.
told
He had a
him.
contract. Listen up. He had a contract with him. The promotion was going to come out on Tuesday, had posters made, everything done, and he pulls out of the fight. That's a duck, no?
He did what his boss told him to do.
Canelo doesn't have a boss.
Whoa,
Wait,
let's
Canelo
not.
doesn't have a boss.
Now you're trying to say Canelo is
Yeah.
like.
Canelo's his
Don't-
own man, son.
Don't call Canelo a cuck, Robbie, please.
Say it.
Don't do that, Robbie.
Say it. He ducked him.
Turkey Al-Sheikh has
Say
more
it.
money than Canelo Alvarez will ever see.
Oh, okay, Robbie. Now we're going to play Mr. Elitism now. Enough with this, Robbie. You are going off the deep end here. You're going down a rabbit hole that we
It's
never
early for
wanted to go down here.
It's early for
Okay?
him. It's early.
I
I
mean,
want
this
you to
is
admit it,
wrong.
Robert.
Give
You
me-
ducked him. I want you to say it.
No, he did not. No,
How is
he
it
did
not a duck? How is it not a duck?
He's like, Eric is
How
such
is
a
it not a
bully.
duck?
What a bully
He had
you
the
are,
fight
kid.
side.
Because
He had the fight side, and he pulled out. That's a duck.
he did not know. When you have a man that has more money than you do, that's making the
A lot of
decision,
people have more money
you
than
what
I
you're
do.
told. You do what you're told.
Why are you
Do what
cucking
you're
Canelo
told.
like this, Eric? Eric, Robbie. Why are you cucking him like this?
Yeah, Robert.
This is so disrespectful, this position you're taking.
Disrespectful.
Because Joe, that's the way Turkey talked to him. When Turkey speaks, boxers have to listen, or the money goes away.
You act like Turkey. You're talking like Turkey's like your best friend now. Like you know everything. Like he confides in you. You know all his negotiating tactics and stuff. What's going on here, Robert?
Okay.
Somebody see Robert doesn't have a trophy.
You listen to a few interviews and you think you know the guy like the back of your hand. I'm not buying into this, Robert. I'm not buying into this.
Joe,
okay?
Joe, can you name another promoter on this planet who is still promoting fights today who could put together a card like February 22nd?
What is this? What's this, a quiz? I mean
and have the money to do it.
No.
I mean, again, he's doing it because he has. Well, to be honest with you, Robert, I'll concede he's putting a lot of money behind the sport. He is putting a lot of money behind the sport.
That's right.
Let me ask you this.
That's right.
Have you been out to eat with Turkey Al-Sheikh when he comes here? You know, he's been to California before. Have you and Turkey Al-Sheikh gone to Applebee's with Mrs. Herrick?
I would love to go out to dinner with him. I would love to pick that man's brain. What he's doing for this sport is fantastic.
Wow, that's a good answer. All right. It's getting sharp in your old age now that you've been calling in enough time.
I'm just saying, I wouldn't go out of my way to have dinner with him. You know what I'm saying? I don't go out of my way to have dinner
Yeah.
with him.
Now you're cucking to Turkey Al-Sheikh like you've accused Canelo Alvarez of doing. I think you're doing a lot of projection here. I'm being honest. I'm seeing a lot of projection.
I'm just saying.
I'm seeing a lot of projection.
You know, Turkey loves
Applebee's. A lot of projection going on here.
Reese Mack says Applebee's was Robbie's suggestion.
Now, before I get out of here, we'll talk Super Bowl, but I want to get to yesterday. Good win by Eric Chisora.
Derek Chisora.
But for the first time in a long time, I have to agree with Eric. I don't think he should fight anymore. I think it's over. I think what we saw
just
yesterday.
Snatching a living away from the guy. Like, what are you doing? Why would you snatch a living away from that guy?
I think what we saw yesterday in that ring, I think we saw not one but two fighters that should leave the sport.
Ottawa for sure, but yeah.
You're like the Department of Government Efficiency. You just want to cut everyone's salary now.
What's going on here? He's like the Doge of boxing.
Now you want to cut everyone's salary.
It's like the Doge of boxing.
You want to pull the rug out from underneath everybody at this point. What's going on?
Hey, I love Doge. I think it's a wonderful plan. I think it's great.
It's great that he's putting all these people out of work. Yeah, it's wonderful. Wonderful. How much money did you see from this whole Doge thing, by the way?
He needs to go after the Pentagon if he wants to save some real money.
Well, you know what?
How much money did you save from Doge? Nothing, because prices are still sky high.
Well, believe me, it'll take a while.
Oh,
and Joe, I totally agree with you.
Oh, yeah. What happened to the 24 hours of all prices, Yeah, stop it.
Hey,
what's the matter with you? You're embarrassing yourself.
And I agree with you.
You've embarrassed the platform.
I agree with you.
Robert,
I agree.
Back on hold until we get you. You're back on hold. You've embarrassed yourself and the platform.
Yeah, get him out of here.
We'll get your Super Bowl pick in a minute. All right. 718 California. You're live.
Hello?
718, you're live. Yep, you.
Wake up, come on.
Oh,
hey, what's going on, guys?
Hey, how you doing, man?
Happy Super Bowl weekend, guys.
Thank you. Raphael, what's going on, man?
¿Cómo estás, Raphael?
I came in a little bit late, so I didn't hear your takes on the whole Jake Paul versus Canelo saga.
Oh, don't make him.
Beeb said that Canelo was ducking Jake Paul.
No, I did not.
I, of course, agreed with him.
No, I did not.
I said he's ducking him.
That's absolutely false.
So, yeah, he absolutely ducked Jake Paul. Just like he ducked Benavidez. Just like he ducked Benavidez. He's going to duck Jake Paul. And he's going to fight a guy 2 weight classes below him. How about that?
On the paper terms, officially how we look at it, it looks like a duck.
Right? It's a duck, right? He agrees. He agrees with me. It's a duck. Quack, quack.
I think a lot of people are overlooking the bigger ramifications of this deal not going through. which people are not really paying attention to what Jake Paul said in that clapback video. Al Heyman. Al Heyman is probably the biggest loser in this whole situation, which people are not really talking about. And that picture, that Turkey Al-Sheikh with the lion and the Scarface reference, that might have been the reference to that, because it seemed like Al Heyman was the one orchestrating this whole thing with Netflix, and that probably would have injected a lot of money back into the PBC if that fight really would have gone through, because that would have done massive numbers. That would have like broken all records. As much of a circus and a clown show that we want to look at, that probably would have brought back the PBC.
Raphael,
the PBC is in Amazon
into the business.
Raphael, let me ask you a question.
The PBC does Amazon, correct?
Yeah, but they've also had some of their fighters. Well, let me just ask a question real quick, because they've also had some of their fighters go over to be on Riyadh shows as well.
Mm-hmm.
And again, let me just ask you a quick question, Raphael, not to cut you off. Do you think Al Heyman is completely out of the picture? Because Turkey Al-Sheikh is not a promoter. He works with other promoters. Do you think PBC will still be involved with Canelo to some capacity along with this deal with Turkey Al-Sheikh? That's the big question. We don't really know. Everyone's just assuming this, just like they assumed Canelo was going to go to re-sign with DAZN when I kept saying he's going to go with the highest bidder. Again, Turkey Al-Sheikh has worked with PBC before. They have had their fighters on Riyadh season cards before. Is PBC 100% totally out of the picture? We don't know that.
Well, I'll tell you this. In the video, Jake Paul strictly states you turn your back on Al after he made you hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah,
it could have been you turned your back on him for this one specific.
You know what he meant.
Fight.
You know what he meant, Beeb. You know what he meant by that?
I think you guys are concocting and constructing a scenario that isn't 100%.
Don't even try it. Don't even try it. You know what happened.
Now you're disrespecting Al Heyman. That's blasphemous.
No, you're disrespecting Al Heyman. Go ahead, Rafael.
We may have to see how this whole thing. Yeah, we may have to see how this whole thing plays out. Like, obviously, I'm just theorizing. I have no facts about this. I don't know. I'm just speculating. I'm just another fan looking from the outside.
You preface these statements with that. Don't be like Robbie trying to act, put factual things out there when they're not factual.
Right. He's
but
right. 100% right.
Based on the information that I've gathered, looking at everything from all angles, pretty much is another YouTube channel that has close ties to the PBC. They had mentioned that Al Heyman and the PBC were, in December, were looking to make a big fight, which was going to get a lot of pushback from the boxing community, but they were going to get over it once it was made. And this seemed very aligned to that. Now, what is if Riyadh kind of cuts ties with the PBC and Al Heyman, that probably may prove my theory right. If it doesn't, then I'm wrong. But I'm going to look at it from this angle, because
you could be right. You could be right. We're not saying you're wrong.
Yeah, I think Turkey will work with anybody. I really do. I don't think the PBC has much to do with it.
Let me just add this final point. Anybody that's doing a business deal is not going to be happy about them getting leverage to pay more money. And me looking at it from like the outside, looking at Turkey being happy that he just happened to dish out more money to get Canelo, and then he's kind of like puffing his chest saying that he's aligned. It looks like it's like he looks like an idiot. Like, that's what I'm looking at. But if I'm putting this perspective in the equation, then it all makes sense. But we'll see. We'll see how this whole thing plays out.
Yeah. I think that Lion statement was directed towards Jake Paul, not the PBC. That's just my opinion.
I don't know.
Well, we'll see how this plays out. But that's my call, guys.
All right. Thank you so much, Rafael. We appreciate it, man. Thank you. Let's see here. Give me 2 seconds. All right, let's move on here. So, Beeb, this is another one. So, Eddie Hearn claims that Amanda Serrano and Katie Taylor are negotiating. Why is there a third fight? Taylor won both fights. How many fights do you have to lose in a row? I mean, seriously, what are we doing here? Why do we need another one of these fights?
I don't hate the third fight, but once again, like, how many bites at the apple you're going to get? You're like, okay, you want to
It's not a grudge match anymore because you've lost twice.
I
never won.
Yeah, I scored both fights for Katie Taylor. You can argue they were competitive or close, whatever. I even scoring the second fight, I think I had the second fight like wider than the first fight, but some people think Serrano won both fights, whatever. I don't know if they're going to get paid. If both women are going to get paid significantly in the third fight, then all the power to them, I guess. We'll see what happens. See how the public reacts to it.
I don't want to see the fight again.
Yeah. Well, again, you've never been a rematch. You've never been a rematch person. That's that's your preference, but I respect it.
Yeah. We need to see it for. Bakhtir Jalolov, Olympic fighter, two-time Olympic gold medalist, backed out of a fight this weekend due to a medical reason. No excuse was given, just a medical reason. And, he was fighting. I mean, he was on the undercard of I think it was an overseas card. I don't know, but I didn't recognize who he was fighting or anything like that. This guy has got to get it in gear, man. He's got all the tools.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on.
He's got all the tools, right? You're looking at a two-time undefeated. He's undefeated in the pros. Like, what is he? 17-0, 17 knockouts. And where are you? Like, come on, man. Start picking up the talent. Start picking up everything. Fight some guys and get yourself in the spotlight, man.
Yeah, I don't get it.
I mean, I don't know what you're doing. You're spinning your wheels, and you've been spinning your wheels for 4 years now.
Yes.
Because quite honestly, when you won the gold, he should have never went back to the Olympics.
Won back and won another gold. Yeah, that kind of diverted his focus.
Yeah,
back to the amateurs instead of giving full focus to the pros. Right.
And as good as this guy, nobody's going to beat him in the amateurs.
No, probably not.
But like, we want to see you in the pros. So there was no reason for him to go back to the amateurs and fight again. It just didn't make sense. You know what I mean?
And I hate that rule where they allow the pros to go back to the amateurs. It really bothers me. But what am I?
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
I think it's a bad rule.
I do too. All right, let's bring Robert back on here. Robert, you're back on. All right, so let's talk. Okay. I believe there's a football game going on today, Beeb. I'm not sure. I know we do this show for England, but apparently there's a football game somewhere today. Beeb, I'm going to start. I'm going to start with you, Beeb. Kansas City or Philadelphia? Who do you like?
I'm going to go with the Chiefs here. I'm going to go
Chiefs in the points, huh?
I'm going to go with Mahomes. Yeah.
That's, it's funny because the Chiefs have been like a beatable team all year. They only win. It seems like they're always in one-score games. A majority of the games have been just one score. It seems like they hang around, and then all of a sudden it happens. I'm going to go with the Eagles. I think the Chiefs are going to have a difficulty with that run today. Saquon Barkley should have been the NFL MVP this year. Either him or Joe Burrow, either one of those. But he is going to run all over that defense. Because they have trouble stopping that run. At least they did last week in Buffalo. Buffalo doesn't have a better running game than Philly.
Let me ask you this question. It's not really relevant, but I'm just curious. Normally, I have a rooting interest in the Super Bowl. I tend to want one team to win it. But in this instance, part of me kind of wants the Chiefs to win for Mahomes. I like Mahomes. And I also like the fact, I like history being made. So then you can get, like, this is supposed to be the first time a team ever won 3 Super Bowls in a row. It's never been done.
Right. They've won 2, never 3, though.
Yeah. So for those 2 factors, I kind of am slightly rooting for the Chiefs, but I wouldn't hate Philly winning either. So I have a slight rooting interest for the Chiefs, but for the most part, I'm kind of down the middle here. I don't have a rooting interest. Who do you? It's not about who you think's going to win. Who you want to win?
Eagles.
Yeah, because I know most people.
He's been there so many times. They've already been there twice.
Yeah.
Like we've already seen it. But the Eagles have been there too. I tell you, I was rooting for Detroit. The Lions should have been their year, bar none. Best team in the NFL. And they check out on the first home game.
Yeah. Gotcha. All right. That's good. That's interesting.
Robert, who wins?
Look, I'm in a difficult position here because
Oh,
I don't like
over
the
dramatize
because
it.
they're my division rival.
Straddle the fence.
But I do want to see history made here. I do want to see history made. So I'm going to take the Chiefs over the Eagles, and it'll be the first time in history that somebody won 3 consecutive Super Bowls, and may they never win another one after this.
How are they going to stop Saquon Barkley?
Eric,
Because
that is the
Buffalo
one
ran
weakness.
all
That's
over him last week in the second half.
That's the one weakness. That's the one weakness that Kansas City has. And, every game that Philadelphia has played this year, the defense is unprepared for Saquon Barkley. Can you imagine if you're a New York Giants fan today and you're seeing Barkley do all this stuff? You're going,
they were
why didn't
morons
we
for
keep
letting him go. I mean, that was just the dumbest move ever.
Yep. Why didn't we keep him?
How unprecedented is that the guy you drop because you think he's done goes out and wins, he goes out and has an MVP season the next year. It's insane.
And rushes for over 2,000 yards. I mean, and the last time anybody did that was Eric Dickerson, Emmitt Smith, people like that,
All right. Silly question here. All right. Silly question here. You saw the Patrick, what is it? The Travis Kelce thing where they asked him about the president and he said it's an honor to play in front of the president. Well, Trump tweeted out that he hated Taylor Swift and just railed on her. And those two are dating now. Do you think Taylor Swift breaks up with him if they lose?
No. It looks like their relationship
you're on the side of true love, huh?
I think it's pretty solid. They've been together now for a while.
Who are you, Chuck Woolery from from a Love Connection? How do you know the relationship's pretty solid? These things can end in the turn of a dime, man. How many times do we think relationships are going great? How many times we think everything's going great? And we thought that Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez would be going on for forever. And let's see what happened there, man.
Let me tell you what, if a guy thinks the relationship is going great, it's probably not. All right.
Yeah, you don't know. As a guy, you're in a relationship, you think everything's going great. Your girl tells you she loves you every night before you kiss her goodnight, going to bed. And then you wake up one morning and she's gone, and all your stuff is out of their apartment, and you go in the closet. You go in her closet and everything's gone. You get that Dear John letter on the bureau. Things like this happen all the time.
On the bureau. On the bureau.
It's part of the bedroom. It's part of the bedroom furniture. It's part of everyone's bedroom furniture.
Nobody calls it a bureau. What's the matter with you?
You keep forgetting I'm from Boston. You have to cut me some slack here.
From Boston.
Please.
Something else today. This is great.
Maddening. All right, Robert, I'm going to put you back on hold.
All right, get lost.
All right.
Why are you doing like that?
I love the kid. He calls me every week, man. I'm always there as a helping hand to this kid.
What's the matter with you? Not on. Corey Lee in the chat. What's up, Corey Lee? Yeah, I think Philly gets it done today, man. I think they get it done with Barkley. I think Barkley will be the MVP also. I think he has that big of a day.
Okay.
Then you got to shut down the receivers if the running game is there. You got AJ Brown on one side, you got Slim Reaper on the other side.
Wow.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. But Kansas City always plays tough. They always come to win.
They do. Do you think the game's close? Do you think the game's close?
No, I think Philly blows them out.
You know what's crazy, Eric?
At least by 2 scores. Yeah.
The Super Bowl used to be a blowout all the time, and then in recent years it's starting to get
close. A lot of parity,
close, right?
Yep.
So, but you think it's going to be a wide game?
I think it's going to be a blowout. Yeah, I think it's going to be a wide game.
Okay.
You know what this game looks like? It looks like the Tampa Bay KC game is what it looks like with Brady when Brady was playing. Okay. Corey Lee's got the Chiefs winning though. Now your brother who's an avid gambler,
my brother,
Chiefs winning too.
My brother bet the Chiefs. Man, my brother bet the Chiefs earlier in the season to win the whole thing. So
what? How much did he bet on him? And what's he get if he wins? Because that had to be huge odds, right?
Yeah, I think he bet like $300 or $400 on them.
Wow.
I think he's getting like either 4 or 5 to 1 on them, or something like that.
Yeah.
So
it's something crazy. Yeah,
he should get a nice little payout today if they win.
Yeah. Go to your studio next week. It's going to be all decked out with TVs and everything like that. The Ringside Reporter is going to be a neon,
That's right.
There you go. All right, guys, that'll do it for this edition of Ringside Reporter. As always, you can catch Joe Habib on X at jhabib1. Find our YouTube channel at ringsidereporter.com and find me on X at ringside73. Guys, we will see you later.